Oh, all right. What's going on today, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, so we're welcome back to another weekly podcast on video games and video game experiences and what we are playing, and that's what I'll call this. What I am playing, or maybe just talk about a game that I want to play or I'm going to play in the future. So, what have I been playing? To this last time I talked about Factorio. This time we're moving on to an MMO. An older MMO. It's not old by any means of the words MMO. I've played some old ones in the day, but in older, it's over 10. I think it's 10 years old now. I think 10th anniversary, maybe 11 years. Um, Elder Scrolls Online. I kind of got back into that. There's been a few people that just wanted to delve back into it and try it out. And we have a fairly robust. Well, we're building a fairly robust online community, and so we decided to take our shot at building that back up, right? And trying to build a community there. And so far, so good. It's a little rough trying to get everybody on the same page and work together. And pardon me, boy, too many hours playing, I guess. I don't know. So it's I'm going to do the same thing I do every time. I'm going to tell you why I bought or why I played. I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online off and on for probably almost 10 years. I did play in the beta for a while. I did play in multiple stages throughout the game, and I do like the game. My biggest qualm was I just didn't have a lot of people to play on it with, right? And so that gets to be a little bit of a trial point at some point, because you're like, I really want to play a game. And then it's like, well, you can't because there's nobody to play with. And then you're like, well, I really want to. And then you're like, well, there's nobody to play with. And then after a while, you just burn out when you're playing by yourself, as every game, right? Pardon me, especially the multiplayer games. It really sucks. The MMOs are massive multiplayer online games, MMORPGs, role-playing games, or FPSs, or whatever. And so when you think of that, you think, oh, there's lots of people. And there are. And Elder Scrolls, I will tell you, Elder Scrolls does a lot of things right. There's a few things I don't like about it. The likes are not as good or the dislikes aren't as good as the likes, for sure. So maybe we'll talk about the dislikes and then move on to the likes. I like to always be a little negative to begin with, and we can just shoot it up and juice it up with a little bit of positivity at the end. The things I don't like about it is, at least up to the point that I've played, which is I'm into the championships and championship levels or prestige levels or whatever you want to call them, and everything seems. I think almost everything in the game is soloable, right? Now, I haven't played a lot of the PvP, at least not in this run. I haven't. This last run I've been playing, and that's okay. I'll get to it. But it seems like most of the world bosses, if done right, you can just kind of just do them. And so, well, Scott, that is the way it's meant to be played. Yeah, I understand that's the way it's meant to be played. It's just sometimes with a little struggle in life, the rewards don't seem worth it, right? So you want that little struggle. But I have noticed that the power creep is slowly catching me, right? The world bosses that were when I was low level and I was trying to take over and do, or the bosses or delves or whatever, were easier at low levels than they are at high levels. Does that make sense? I don't know how else to explain it. That's just to me seems how it works. And so that to me is just a little bit of negative. I don't mind a power creep or power creep. A little bit of difficulty at the beginning to make me just go, okay, I gotta focus on this and grit up or whatever it's gonna be, and just work through it and tough it out, So there is that. Pardon me with my yakety voice here. Obviously, it's winter and it's dry, and so I'm going to be coughing a lot, which I don't mean to. It just happens. Pardon me. Just happens to be how it works for me. And pretty much any podcast I ever do all year round. So there we are. Okay, so we're back on Elder Scrolls. We got a little off track. So that my biggest negatives, it just seems it's almost too easy. It's almost too casual. And I understand why, because a lot of Skyrim players, Oblivion players, Morrowind players are looking for that experience, but in it all. Pardon me again. And anyway, I apologize for that brief pause. I know you maybe didn't see that pause, but it's there. So I think, yeah, it's a bit too casual. I like a little more grit and a little more dirt in my MMO. Now, the bonuses of this now are there seems to be almost a never-ending amount of content, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, Elder Scrolls has been around for 10 years. They have a lot of expansions. You can play for free. That's huge. You don't really ever have to buy it if you don't want to. You can just grind through and just play. Now, with that said, though, if you buy some of the DLC, which you can buy individually, or you can buy a ESO Plus subscription and get all of it for the most part, except for the last expansion, without having to. You get all the DLC without having to pay for it, except for some of the bigger expansion stuff. If you have an ESO Plus account, if you don't, you have to buy it all individually, and that can be kind of a tedious bum too. So I guess that's a little bit of a negative. If you're not willing to pay that monthly subscription or buy the DLC, it can be a little bit of a drag after a while. But if you are a ESO Plus or you do like to buy the content, there's a lot to it. There's a lot. I mean, there's so many layers of game style in there. Not many games can perform that much depth and complexity, right? And so a few of the things that I want to talk about, there's no way I can make a video. I talk about everything ESO Elder Scrolls Online can offer, because it's just too much. Well, maybe, but it'd be a really long video and be boring. So it'd be rambling. So first thing first, there is no, if you're in a guild or in your group or just with your buddies playing, and you're 10th level and they're 50 or whatever in championship levels they are, y'all can do the same quests. No back. Somehow there's some weird, math magic that goes in there, and the game just magically makes everything tough for everybody. Does that make sense? Like, I know it wasn't that long ago, there was a guy that was with us, and he's considerably higher level than I was at the time, at least for the character. Pardon me again. He was in with the character that was way higher level than mine was, and we went and did dungeons together flawlessly. It just works flawlessly. It's just absolutely. I think the loot drops based on, like, his loot drops were based on him, mine were based on me, and everything just moved along fine. I don't know. I honestly don't know how the math works. I don't know what kind of wizardry they have in there, what kind of magic they're using in there, but it's good magic, and I like it. I like that it doesn't matter. You and your friends can just party and hang out together, and you all can just play. It's pretty awesome. Crafting, it seems fairly ridiculous. Ridiculous, I mean, there's a lot to it. I don't know. There's just a lot to it. There's diagrams, there's blueprints, there's deconstruction, construction, there's research, and it all piles into some kind of convoluted, chaotic mess, which I have not delved into a lot in this newer run. I can say that years ago I probably delved into it quite a bit, but some of it has changed a little bit, some hasn't. And so I'm not going to speculate too much on that right now until I do it again. What else is really a bonus? There's almost unlimited amount of cosmetic stuff you can do, whether you want to pay for it or You want to just earn it through achievements, sometimes global achievements, sometimes dungeon achievements. You get pets, you can get non-combat pets, you can get mounts, you can get companions to help you. You can get servants to be in your houses. Did I mention there's housing? You can put, there's hundreds of houses you can choose from. I think hundreds. There's a lot anyway. And it gets to be overwhelming, the number of things you can do. And some of the houses that go from one room to 30 rooms or whatever it is. They're huge. Some of them are monstrous. Like last time I played, I must have got me wild and decided I was going to go get me a giant villa. And it's got this huge outdoor area in the front of the building. And on the back of the building, it's got another huge outdoor area. It's got water, so you can go down to the docks, and then you can, it's just it's giant. It's huge. There's probably 10 rooms inside the building. And they're big rooms, not little tiny ones. Multiple levels, everything from basements to, attics. There's all kinds of stuff. So housing is pretty huge. And the number of quests, there's so much, like I said, the content, there's so much, there's 10 years plus of content in there. And it's not one of those games where you can just power through all that in a matter of a few days. You just can't. I'm sorry. There's too many little worlds with hundreds of objectives or hundreds of things to do in each of them. And I'm not talking quest lines, delves, dungeons, instances, points of interest, just tons, right? And so it gets to be a little bit obscene. That's part of the reason why I like it so much. The graphics are good still. They're not the cream of the crop by any means, but they are good graphics, and they don't hurt your eyes looking at them. You're not looking at pixel art. You're not looking at block art. You're looking at pretty decent graphics still for its age. It's doing pretty good. It's 10 years old. Some of the new graphics cards still make it look real pretty. So that's kind of cool. It's a fun game. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I've been playing it a lot, and I probably play a few hours every day because there's dailies, of course. You gotta keep playing. Did I mention there's mounts and there's whole levels of mount systems going on? Like capacity, stamina, speed. You can work on all that if you want. That's fine. You don't have to, but you can. Anyway, so I just wanted to go over that. Did I mention you can decorate your houses with hundreds of thousands of different items? And then every event has new items. There's a lot. It can be overwhelming, and I won't lie. When you get into the game, it's overwhelming. It's just a mass of just blah. What I recommend to you is, if you're getting into the game of something like Elder Scrolls Online, I would recommend that you just go ahead and play, turn off all your friends for a while, level 0 to 50. It doesn't take that long, probably a couple weeks. I mean, if you play it hardcore, you probably do it sooner. But just casual play, like I've been. I've been playing for about 3 weeks now, maybe 4. I think it's been about 4 weeks. I'll play about an hour or 2 a night, maybe. And it's not every night. I try to log in at least every night just to do my daily rewards and stuff. But I do miss days here and there. I went from 0 to, or level 1 to 46, I think. And I think tomorrow, if I was using experience scrolls, which you can get, they give you for free if you're just questing and taking the daily rewards, you can probably get. I probably could level to 50 by Wednesday, but within a couple days anyway. So I shouldn't say Wednesday because who knows what day of the week you're going to be watching this, right? But I could, within a couple days, I could be level 50 and then start working on championship levels, which is a whole nother. I'm not even going to get into that. Skill trees are unbelievable. Like, there's so many, wow. You think there's only 5-6 classes, but then you look at the skill trees, and realistically there's, in the combination thereof, probably hundreds of classes. There are only a few races, mind you, but I think 9 races or 10 races, something like that. But there are hundreds and hundreds of classes you can choose from, because every weapon you have, every weapon style, like sword and shield, two-handed, restoration staff, destruction staff, they all have tree lines you go down and level up in it. gets out of control. Anyway, that is about enough rambling on about that time sink of a game, but it is wintertime here where I'm at, so that is why I'm playing it. Summertime's probably won't be playing it as much, but wintertime, that's what we're doing. Playing a little Elder Scrolls Online. So, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs and a like or whatever, subscribe, come message me, tell me what other videos you'd like to see, what other games you'd like me to talk about. And until next time, my name is Scott. Call me Guff. I'll be signing off.